Real Madrid's miracle worker, the coach who bends reality. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 31. Okay, host. Goal card, used successfully. At this time, the system immediately replied. At this moment, I saw the football kicked out by Ronaldo, like a missile, flying towards the gate of Barca with precision. Due to the long distance of the ball, it also gave Barca's goalkeeper Valdez a short time to react. The ball gradually flew towards the position of the goal, and due to the resistance of the air and the longer distance of flight, the power of the football to be hit by the foot was gradually weakened. Valdez stood confidently in front of the goal, his hands held high, ready to take off the soccer ball in the air with ease. But just then, the football suddenly fell. The soccer ball in the air grazed directly over Valdez's head and quickly fell towards the net. It's a deciduous ball. This instantaneous acceleration of the falling ball, like a falling leaf, swayed in a trance, hence the name. This kind of ball is the most confusing, so many goalkeepers have no choice but to take this kind of ball. Aha! The ball crashed into the net. The ball is in. At this moment, the referee's whistle continued to sound, and his right finger pointed to the center circle of the court. At this time, Ronaldo's long-range goal helped Real Madrid to overtake the score. At this moment, the on-field score between Barca and Real Madrid has been rewritten to 1-2. After entering this world wave, Ronaldo was very excited, and he immediately came to the front of the stadium after running to the sideline to hug his coach for the first time. He waved his hands excitedly, then immediately took off his jersey. At this time, Luo's strong muscles and 8-pack abs were suddenly displayed in front of the world. Ronaldo, such a celebration is not enough. Now, at Camp Nou, lift your shirt right away. At this moment, Lin Guang appeared next to Luo, and then solemnly confessed. Yes, coach. Luo heard this and immediately replied. At this moment, I saw Luo raise his Real Madrid number 7 shirt high. In the Camp Nou stadium, the talented Real Madrid star proudly shows his power to everyone. At this time, the Real Madrid fans in the stadium erupted into a warm cheer. The fans at home kept booing, and the director of the game duly cut the picture to Messi's face. Mr. Enrique, now Barca. Behind. Hierro said playfully to Enrique next to him on the guest stage. Enrique, on the other hand, looked dissatisfied, and he gasped for breath in his seat and did not say a word. In the VIP box at Camp Nou, Perez's joy is overflowing with words. Mr. Rosell, can you ask someone to give me another cup of coffee? At his own home, the Barca players were extremely embarrassed by the star of the opposing team. Because, this is the most direct mockery of the other party. Peak, as the most absolute Barca fan, is looking at Ronaldo at the moment, angrily biting his back teeth. Beep. A whistle. At this moment, the referee gave a yellow card to Cristiano Ronaldo, who took off his shirt to celebrate. Ronaldo immediately put on his shirt again, gladly accepted the yellow card, and then immediately ran back to the court. After a while, under the organization of the referee, the game continued. The kickoff is carried out by the Barca team that conceded the goal. After Guardiola's brief adjustment, the lagging Barca suddenly switched to the 334 formation. Guardiola's intentions are already clear, he is going to attack all the time left of the game. Alves was replaced, with young striker Boyan on the pitch and the MVP trio forming a 4-man strike line. When Lin Guang saw this, he only smiled softly. Now except for Pepe, the other 9 people, all of them are forwards. That's right, what I want now is the 109 formation. Isn't the other side going to fight with us? Well, satisfy them now. At this time, Lin Guang loudly commanded the team at the side of the court. Received. Yes, coach. The Real Madrid players on the pitch immediately indicated that they had received instructions. At this time, no one asked Lin Guang why he did this. Is the zero midfield really no problem? Real Madrid's players were obedient to their coach at this moment, and 9 strikers immediately rushed towards Barca's penalty area. What everyone did not expect was that Barca's 334 formation was still controlled to death by King Mark. Barca's passing and possession, the number of failures is increasing. Real Madrid took the opportunity to become active, with 9 strikers frantically attacking towards the Barca penalty area. Barca, who had only 3 defenders, eventually lost, and in a Real Madrid attack, Di Maria knocked Puyol down and caused the latter's muscle strain. Pique was furious and deliberately knocked Di Maria down directly in the penalty area, was sent off by the referee for a red card, and awarded the away team a penalty. At this point, Barca has collapsed in this game. Episode 32. Aha! Ronaldo stood at the penalty spot and took it in one fell swoop. Real Madrid number 7 successfully scored a penalty. At the moment, Real Madrid led Barca 3-1. The second degree of C. Luo, at this moment roared. In the following matches, Barca, which is behind the score and plays one less, has already collapsed. Inside the Camp Nou stadium, boos from home fans erupted and the pressure on Barca's players multiplied. In the case of falling behind, it is pointless to continue to control the ball and fall on the ground. During this time period, in the face of the boos of the fans, and the other side stood alone in front of the penalty area and kept boasting about the master pay, if he wanted to turn the tables again, Barca had to make a last attempt. Guardiola did not immediately adjust after Pique was sent off. Barca's 234 formation continues to move forward fearlessly. I want to use the strange formation against the strange formation, although the idea is good, but Barca does not have it against the Sky coach like Lin Guang. Barca, whose formation has been restrained everywhere, has one less person in the back line, and at the moment they are almost full of loopholes. Sure enough, while Casillas and Pepe were standing in the penalty area blowing cold winds and doing nothing, Real Madrid's players seized the opportunity and went down 30%. The final 3 goals were scored by Croce, Kaka, and Granero. At this point, by the end of the game, Real Madrid finally defeated the powerful Barca 6-1 away. The match consisted of 7 goals. They were Ronaldo's hat-trick, Kaka's double, a free kick from Granero in front of the goal, and Messi's brilliant opening goal. Beep. Beep. After the final whistle sounded, the world-renowned West Tooth Derby officially ended. In this game, from the one-sided victory over Real Madrid at home by Barca before the start of the game, to the slaughter of Barca by Real Madrid on the away side, everyone feels incredible. At the Camp Nou stadium at this moment, a small number of Real Madrid fans are constantly cheering for the players they support. The Barca fans at home have been booing, tearing the tickets off, spilling their anger into the air and then walking towards the exit. There was a strong margin of score, and as soon as the match ended, the entire Barca team immediately left the pitch. In the VIP box of the stadium, Perez and Rosell stood up at the same time. Mr. Rosell, thank you for your hospitality, the coffee was delicious. Perez smiled slightly, then shook hands with Rosell. After speaking, Perez slowly left, accompanied by his assistant. Rosell, on the other hand, sat back on the couch with a look of loss. Blue Sky Sports Soccer Live Room. Huh? Where is Mr. Enrique now? Hierro squeezed the paper ball in his hand and then asked deliberately doubtfully to the beautiful host in front of him. Listening to the staff, Mr. Enrique is currently having some discomfort in his stomach and is in the toilet. Loda heard this and covered her mouth with her hand and smiled softly. Inside the stadium, after greeting the fans from afar, the Real Madrid players did not immediately return to the dressing room. The players took Lin Guang to the middle of the court and then surrounded him in a circle. Wow! 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 At this moment, the Real Madrid players rhythmically threw their coaches high. In the process of Lin Guang's continuous being thrown up and down, he also deeply felt the emotions of the players towards him. After a while, the players safely put Lin Guang on the ground. Coach, stay. At this time, Granero took the lead. Yeah, coach, I'm willing to play under your coaching. C. Luo immediately followed. Coach, you're a magician, I've never experienced such a great victory. Yes, if you are in charge of Real Madrid, the thorn head of my dressing room will absolutely obey you. Coach, as long as you stay, you let me play the bench to see the water dispenser. At this time, the players said a word, and I said a word around Lin Guang. Because everyone knows that Lin Guang is just a temporary transition coach, he may soon leave here. At first, the stars of Real Madrid did not look at the rookie coach squarely, but after this 6-goal victory over Barca, they were really impressed by Lin Guang's coaching charm. Okay, let's be quiet. I love this team and I love everyone very much. But there are some things that I as a coach can decide. Lin Guang waved at the players and then said with some sadness. Episode 33. Coach, please don't leave. Really, if you leave, I don't know if I'm going to play football again. At this time, Kaka hugged Lin Guang tightly, and then said with tears in his eyes. Hey, you boy, no matter how you say you're also a Mr. Golden Globe, crying like that. Lin Guang and Kaka separated, and he also secretly wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes before continuing. And you stinky boys, don't make it look like a life and death now. We just fought a beautiful battle, everyone is happy and happy, I don't want to accompany you for a while. Come, everybody follow me, left hand and right hand in a slow motion. After speaking, Lin Guang stretched out the 5 fingers of his right hand, and then raised it to the sky, shaking back and forth. When the players saw this, they also followed their coaches and extended the 5 fingers of their right hand. Haha, it's really feng shui turning. Lin Guang couldn't help but sigh at this time. Peak's famous scene in Lin Guang's previous life was reenacted by him and his own players this time. Several cameras that were being broadcast live on the scene filmed this picture at the right time, and then broadcast it to the whole world. After a while, the Real Madrid players were all back in the dressing room. The excitement still echoed among the players, and the locker room was filled with a sea of joy. Coach talk. Everybody be quiet. At this time, the captain Casillas shouted in his throat. All the players heard the words and all sat quietly on the stools in the dressing room. And Lin Guang, who was preparing for a moment in the locker room to speak at the post-match press conference, was also stunned at this moment. Coach words? Lin Guang looked at Casillas, and then at the other players who were sitting earnestly waiting for him to speak. Suddenly, Lin Guang's heart warmed. Lin Guang knows that all the players in the locker room now have sincere respect and love for him. Cough cough. Thank you Casey, thank you all the players. Actually, I don't have anything to say, because everyone is great. In this game, you all showed your style perfectly. In one word, it is a great honor to be your coach. After speaking, Lin Guang bent down and bowed to all the players. Immediately afterward, there was a warm applause in the locker room. But, for each of you players, I still have a little bit of nagging. At this time, Lin Guang smiled softly at everyone. First of all, Ronaldo. You are great. Continue to maintain all the self-discipline in your profession, and you will surely become a generation of ball kings in the future. At this time, Si Luo looked at Lin Guang in surprise. He did not expect that the coach had such a high evaluation of himself. Thank you, coach. I'll work hard. Luo nodded firmly. And you, Kaka. You're a talented player and injuries have cost you a lot. But now that you're young and healed, you need to regain your self-confidence as soon as possible. Lin Guang walked over to Kaka's side and continued. Coach, I remember. As long as you've been. Kaka got a little excited and then immediately blurted out. At the same time, Lin Guang shook his hand and interrupted Kaka's words. Gago, your technique is the player I've ever seen that Redondo. But your physical strength and confidence on the pitch are things you have to reinvent. Lin Guang continued along the bench in the dressing room, saying his request to each player. Granero, I think you shaved your beard, it should be a lot more handsome, haha. And you, Pepe. On the court, no fights. After explaining to the last 2 players, Lin Guang's coaching words officially ended. And Lin Guang's words of Qin Jia also made the players laugh. You're the most amazing coach I've ever met, you make me shave, I'm sure to shave. Granero still had a little fan's face. And Pepe's only requirement for the coach not to allow a fight is also inexplicable. He touched his head and made a strange and mischievous expression to everyone, once again igniting the pleasant atmosphere in the locker room. After a while, Lin Guang and Casillas came to the scene of the post-match press conference. Before the 2 of them could take their seats in the interview seat, the reporters' flashlights had begun to flicker. Lin Guang broke the microphone rack on the table in front of him, and then took the lead in preaching to the reporters. Excuse me, everyone. I'm winning again. Episode 34. As soon as Lin Guang's voice fell, the voice in the interview room began to become noisy. Hello Coach Lin Guang, can you tell me how you feel now? How did you do it when you won Barca by a score like 6-1? How did you think about the strange formation of 172 at that time? Also, are you all showing 5 fingers after the game, a mockery of winning 5 goals against Barca? At this time, the reporters at the scene rushed to ask questions to Lin Guang. Seeing this, the security personnel at the scene immediately stopped the reporters outside the interview line. After the reporters' emotions calmed down, Lin Guang continued to put the microphone in front of him. I'm a little tired today, and I'm just going to say two things to you here. First, Barca are a strong team, but Real Madrid did better than them today. Second, I'll keep winning. Well, journalist friends, I'll leave first. The team's related matters. Captain Cassie will answer for everyone. After speaking, Lin Guang got up and left the interview seat and walked toward the outside of the house. From the time Lin Guang arrived at the interview room to the time he left, it was only about 3 minutes. Cassie looked at his coach and smiled slightly. He was used to Lin Guang's style. And the reporters did not complain about this time, because the strength shown by Lin Guang allowed him to have the capital to leave such a dashing and cool handsome. However, this time, the rapid departure was not because Lin Guang purely wanted to be handsome. Instead, at the same moment after he sat down in the interview seat, Lin Guang's head sounded a familiar ding sound. Because Lin Guang knows that the system generally finds himself is a good thing, he just can't care about continuing to appear in front of people in front of reporters. System, I can now accept your information. At this time, Lin Guang returned to the coach's lounge set up in the stadium, and immediately communicated with the system after closing the door. Ding! Congratulations to the host as a coach for beating the Barca team by a big score. For this, the reward host reputation value is +1, and the current reputation value is 73. Congratulations to the host reputation value of 73, hereby reward, player recruitment card, 1. At this time, the voice of the system sounded in Lin Guang's head. Is the reputation value only 73? Lin Guang has some small regrets, because he feels that after these games, the attention in the football world should be quite high. It seems that brushing the sense of news existence is not of great significance to improving the prestige value. To sum up, you still have to keep winning. Huh? System, explain how to use the player recruiting card? At this time, Lin Guang reacted to the addition of new system props. Okay, host. Player recruitment card, for coach skill card. You can only bind yourself, and you can't unbind or transfer after binding. After binding, the host can recruit players within its own reputation value in person. After successful recruitment, the target player will come to the team coached by the host in the fastest reasonable transfer time. At this time, the system patiently explained. Having said all this, it means that I can unleash my skills and recruit my little brother. System, if I'm going to recruit Messi now, can it be achieved? Lin Guang was still a little confused, and he continued to consult the system. Reply to the host, now it's not okay for the time being. The recruitment of Messi players requires the reputation of the host to reach 96 or more. In the process of recruiting players in the future, the system will remind the host target player for the first time whether it can be recruited. Please rest assured. The system continued to answer. Oh, that's right. Isn't it the game of catching pets and catching babies? The character level is low, you can only catch ordinary babies. And the level is high, you can catch the best baby. Hearing this, Lin Guang really understood the new skills he was about to have. Hey, it seems that you still have to keep upgrading your reputation points. When the reputation is full, he recruits Messi and C. Luo together in a certain team, so that the two football players can play together to see how those fans still quarrel. Good system, bind, player recruitment card, now. Lin Guang said without hesitation at this moment. Okay, host. Congratulations to the host for successfully tying the card. The system replied immediately. At this time, in addition to the ability of a gold medal coach, Lin Guang also has 2 coaching skills, obedience and player recruitment. At this moment, when Lin Guang was cleaning up the system props, he was surprised to find that there were actually 5 goal cards left in the consumption props. What Lin Guang did not expect was that in the 6-goal victory over Barca, he actually used a goal card. Episode 35. That night, after Real Madrid's 6-1 away win over Barcelona, the results of this match continued to ferment across the network. No one expected that Barca, such as the sun in the sky, was actually defeated by a new coach leading a new team that was running in. Not only that, but the home team was humiliated by the opponent's big win away. Real Madrid fans, who have been suppressed for several years, immediately raised their eyebrows, while Barca fans had a hard time accepting the result. After all, it is difficult for anyone to accept the invincible constant victory general who suddenly suffered a Waterloo-like fiasco. The results of this game have become the first hot search on the whole network. However, the word Lin Guang has also quickly become the second place in the hot search list. The World Fan Forum, all the posts of the same night, without exception, were swept away by Real Madrid victory and Lin Guang. For this, the moderators of the forum had to set up a temporary post for everyone to focus on the world's hottest event of the night in a single post. Barca lost 5 goals at home, can you believe it? The most subtle thing about this game is the change in Real Madrid's formation. The 172 formation, it is really thanks to Lin Guang who wants to come out. Hey, what is 172? In the second half, Lin Guang directly changed the formation to 109. Hey, is it unheard of in the history of football? Hey, I was punched in the face by Lin Guang 3 times in a row. This time I really have to say to Lin Guang, count you cow. Yes, who dares to say that Lin Guang is a front desk spokesperson now? Looking at the world, which coach would dare to make a formation of 172 when playing against Barca? Did you see the classic picture after the game? All the Real Madrid players hold up 5 fingers at Camp Nou. I also saw this video. Fortunately I am not a Barca fan, otherwise this whole season will leave a shadow in my heart. By the way, do you think Lin Guang will continue to win the next game? We'll win. We'll win. I also believe I will win. Then the most critical question is, will Lin Guang stay in Real Madrid after Christmas? It's hard to say, although Lin Guang already has the shadow of a famous marshal, he is still almost qualified. I also think that the Buddha of Real Madrid should still choose Mu Shui. Lin Guang's future still depends on the vision of the president of Real Madrid, and he will not choose talents in an eclectic way. The heat of the incident continued until the next morning. The news of Real Madrid's big victory over Barca was also seen in the news the next day, appearing on the front page cover of major media. As the president of Real Madrid, Perez, who came to the scene of the match and witnessed the victory of this match, he was sitting in his luxurious office at this time, drinking morning tea in a happy mood. Mr. President looks like he's in a good mood. At this time, team manager Sanchez knocked on the door and came in and stood at Perez's desk. Oh. Old man, come to my office so early, what's the matter? Perez said with a smile. Mr. President, have you seen today's news? Everyone is praising Coach Lin Guang of our team. Say he's very powerful, and he can be included in the ranks of famous marshals. Sanchez also laughed happily. To say that this Lin Guang still has some skills. However, the most powerful are the stars we bought at a high price. As far as our Real Madrid star configuration is concerned, it is also the top in the world. Perez sipped his tea softly and then said lightly. However, the platooning and dispatch of the entire team is decided by the coach. Mr. President, you see that Barca's star squad is also very strong, don't you still lose us 5 goals? Sanchez added somewhat eagerly. If you have anything to do, just say it. Placing the teacup on the table, Perez's tone at this time was obviously somewhat displeased. Mr. President, I just heard that you are going to make Solari the assistant coach of the team, exercising the power of the head coach. So, what is Lin Guang in the team when he is in the team? Sanchez promised Lin Guang that as long as he kept winning, he would try to ensure that he finished the work of the contract period. It turns out that you came for this matter. What good is this Lin Guang, and it deserves to be taken so seriously. Stars like Kaka and Ronaldo are the mainstay of the team. As for the coach, we still have to let our reserve talents exercise more. Solari and Zidane have come to me this morning and they have said they are willing to be temporary coaches for the team for a month or 2. I thought about it for a moment, but for now I think Solari is the most suitable position. At this time, in Perez's body, there exudes a confidence unique to successful businessmen. Episode 36. What the? Solari and Zidane had come to see Perez early in the morning? Isn't the coaching staff of this Castilla B team unwilling to take this hot potato at the beginning of the season? Now that Real Madrid has made some achievements, especially after the wild victory over Barcelona, the current Real Madrid position has become fragrant? Even if it is only a few months of transition coaching, with such results as Real Madrid as a guarantee, it is completely possible to gild it during this period, huh? Sanchez figured out the crux of the matter in a moment, and then sneered in his heart. Mr. President, Lin Guang is also our own person. He also came out of the academy team at Real Madrid. Can you also give him a little more opportunity to make Lin Guang a reserve coach for Real Madrid's future? Lin Guang is a talented coach, and his future is definitely infinite. Sir, at least. Let him finish his work during his contract term, right? Sanchez said somewhat pleadingly. Don't say it again, I've decided on it. When did we at Real Madrid lack talented coaches and players? The man who disobeys the management, no matter how famous he is, must give me away. Old man, I still have to give you face, just let Lin Guang stay until Christmas. As long as he doesn't interfere with Solari's coaching. Also, didn't the internet say before that he was a foreground pawn? Scold. Then let him be the end. After that, it was publicized like this. All of Lin Guang's tactics were made by Solari to him. Perez pushed the gold wire glasses on the bridge of his nose and said coldly. I can't help it, Mr. President. This will completely chill the hearts of Lin Guang and the players. Real Madrid's recent excellent results, Lin Guang as a coach is the greatest achievement. Even the fans on the internet have unified their voices, saying that Lin Guang is a Fushing coach. Sanchez heard that and immediately blurted out. Get out. Perez turned his seat and said quietly with his back to Sanchez. Alas. Sanchez sighed inwardly and silently left the president's office. In a prestigious Western restaurant in downtown Yardley, Sanchez and Lin Guang sat facing each other. Mr. Sanchez, is there any great joy today? Actually invited me here for a big dinner? At this time, Lin Guang cut a piece of steak and said happily. It's not a happy event. Sanchez glanced at Lin Guangdo. Oh, I see. There is an old saying in our hometown that says, nothing to do without ascending to the Three Treasures Hall. There is also a saying called, eat people mouth short. Since I have eaten your meal, I will listen to it. Lin Guang's expression was still indifferent. Immediately afterward, Sanchez told Lin Guang the approximate meaning of the president of Real Madrid in the morning. Huh. This is really shrimp and pig heart. At this time, Lin Guang put the knife and fork on the plate, and then gently sipped the red wine. Sanchez? Shrimp, pig heart? Lin Guang explained, it not only robs me of my achievements, but also damages my reputation. For example, Mr. Sanchez, when you read online novels, not only do not vote for flowers and do not vote, but also say that the author is not well written. That's probably what it means. Sanchez nodded, and then savored Lin Guang's allusion. Mr. President is still too maverick to do things. Sometimes he always does something confusing, which makes me very incomprehensible. I think he should know that Coach Lin Guang is very powerful. But Perez made this incredible decision inexplicably. Maybe he's a businessman. After a while, Sanchez looked at Lin Guang and said helplessly. Cut. He's no simple businessman. Otherwise, why do the fans call him Buddha? Lin Guang clearly remembers that in his previous life, the president of Real Madrid had done a lot of fandom in the decade after the 2010 season. For example, in order to show the authority of his club president, he forcibly sent away the peak state of C. Ronaldo, which is known as the change of the team's age structure and the demand for salary increases by players. As a result, a large sum of money was spent on Hazard from Chelsea for Hazard, the largest parallel shipment ever made by Real Madrid. There are also 2 seasons of strong stay in St. Bell, but in both seasons, Bale has been playing golf almost all of them. The authority of the president is everything that Perez cares about. Thinking of this, Lin Guang's expression was very wonderful, and all of this was seen by Sanchez. What's the plan now? If you're leaving, I fully support you. Sanchez said with a serious face. Episode 37. Oh, this meal invited by Mr. Sanchez, the more you eat it, the more you feel like chewing wax. In fact, I don't have any ideas now. If you really want to empty me, let me be a too good coach. Lin Guang stopped eating, then wiped his mouth with the towel in his hand and said playfully. Oh, you boy, you can see everything. Say, what's next? Sanchez also wiped his hands, and then carefully waited for Lin Guang's answer. Hey, it's almost the end of the year, and I feel a little cold physically and mentally. Or the southern hemisphere is hotter now, don't you just give me a holiday. I want to take this opportunity to go to the Samba country for a few days. Lin Guang thought for a moment and then said casually. Go to Samba? Well, it's pretty good for you to go out for a walk these days. Lin Guang, I'm sorry. I failed to keep my promise to you. At this time, Sanchez took the full glass of red wine in his hand and drank it all. It's all right, I know Mr. Sanchez, you've tried your best. Then let's look forward to the wonderful performance of the successor transition coach. Well, really, people now, even temporary workers have to be robbed. Ha 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 ha. Lin Guang said happily, he knows that for his own affairs, Sanchez, the club's second boss, has done a good enough job. It's all in this situation, thanks to you still laughing. Looking at Lin Guang's expression, Sanchez also smiled. Oh, what's wrong? Mr. Manager, I, the hand-throwing coach, can't even laugh? Waiter, come here, I still order food. Over the next few days, Solari quickly took over the role of the manager of the Real Madrid team. Lin Guang, on the other hand, began to enter the state of salted fish mixed salary that he had dreamed of from the beginning. The team's official website also issued an announcement at the first time, with Solari as the team's assistant coach, responsible for organizing and coordinating the overall coaching of the first-line team. Lin Guang did not say goodbye to the players before he went to Samba country. After all, he is still nominally the head coach of the team, and it is not yet the time to really separate. Shortly after the news on the team's official website, a fierce discussion broke out on the internet. In particular, I don't know who deliberately set off some fishing boats, that is, all of Lin Guang's tactical decisions were issued by Solari for him. Since this incident, the posts on the World Fan Forum discussing Real Madrid's big victory and Lin Guang have once again been manually put on the top. Here I go. Is there a reversal in this matter? No, this Lin Guang coach's strength still looks very strong. As a thick black school 10th level, I think that the power of the Masamiya coach should be suspended by the top of the team. Well, that sounds like a lot of sense. Why is this thing being hyped up again? I don't know, but do you think the recent Real Madrid winning streak is Solari's idea, or Lin Guang's role? This matter, I stand Lin Guang. The last time Peak hammered Lin Guang to cheat without evidence, my face was swollen afterwards. Me too, I have been punched in the face 3 times in a row, and this time, no matter what I say, I will stand on Lin Guang. I also agree that Lin Guang was suppressed by the top management of Real Madrid. Me too. Me too. This matter did not ferment quickly on the internet, because most fans firmly believed in this young manager. But they also know that they may not see that handsome figure for the next Real Madrid match. At this time, in the departure hall, Lin Guang silently put the mobile phone back into his pants pocket after reading the news commentary. He shook his head helplessly, not expecting that the internet was full of one-sided support for his comments. Lin Guang also had to sigh and sigh. It was really like the sea when he entered the Giants. Ding dong. At this time, the SMS ringtone of Lin Guang's mobile phone rang. He took out his phone and looked at it, and finally a smile appeared on his face. No problem, right? A few words were displayed on the screen of the mobile phone, but Lin Guang felt particularly warm. Because the signature of this text message is, Ferguson. Happy mood during the tour. Lin Guang quickly replied. Very good, I am relieved. Ferguson's text message came back again. Lin Guang immediately replied with a smiley face and then continued to put the mobile phone back in his pants pocket. At this time, a short 1-minute exchange made Lin Guang feel the greatest warmth since the crossing. After the big win over Barca, there were many congratulators, but Ferguson did not send a congratulatory message. But when Lin Guang encountered trouble, the old man was the first person to come out and care about himself. Monsi, you wait for me. Lin Guang silently thought in his heart at this moment. Episode 38. Lin Guang changed his boarding pass and then sat down in the business class of the plane. The journey to the country of Samba begins. This time away, Lin Guang is not just to go out to play, relax the mood so simple. He has a more important task, that is, Lin Guang, the hunter, is going to go out and catch the baby. This time, the paid leave just gave Lin Guang this opportunity. In the case of sighing his own reputation value, only 73. Lin Guang decided to first include some young future stars who are not very famous for the time being, into his account first. The current year is 2010, and Lin Guang has gone through the list of superstars 10 years later in his head before he set out. However, under the continuous deletion, Lin Guang finally decided to take the lead in winning Neymar, who was known as the third person in the world under Mero. At this time, Neymar was only 18 years old, and despite his young fame and outstanding football talent, few big names paid attention to him. Neymar really entered the eyes of the Giants in 2011. That year, Neymar was 19 years old, and his performance in the competition of the year was completely exploded, eventually winning the South Mika Footballer of the Year and the Pushikash Award. As a result, the two giants of Barca and Real Madrid have been competing for the Samba star for about 2 years. Finally, in 2013, Barca had the last laugh and won the Super Striker. Therefore, at this time, Lin Guang took the Samba star who was only a year later in the football world as the first choice target. Haha, Neymar, I'm going to come over and catch you. Thinking of this, Lin Guang sat on the plane and immediately smiled. Just thinking about the Real Madrid players, his mind is still a little sad after all. Hello, handsome man. Can I change my position? I have ear pain when I fly and feel better when I sit by the window. At this time, a lady holding a microcomputer asked Lin Guang very politely. Okay, no problem. Lin Guang smiled slightly, and then the gentleman stood up from his position. After the two reseated, the plane also began to take off slowly. Thank you, handsome. Yikes. Coach Lin Guang. At this moment, the lady who changed seats with Lin Guang suddenly shouted. At this time, the other passengers in the plane unconsciously looked in the direction of Lin Guang. Do you know me? Lin Guang looked around at the eyes and then asked awkwardly. Hello, I'm a reporter for Ace newspaper, and my name is Luna. It's an honor to be on the same plane as you. Facing Lin Guang, Luna said timidly. Oh well, hello. After speaking, Lin Guang lay down on the chair and pretended to sleep. Coach Lin Guang, can I talk to you? At this time, Luna's eyes flickered, and then she asked in a low voice. As a journalist, she will not miss the opportunity to give this star coach an exclusive interview now. All right. Lin Guang opened his eyes and replied faintly. Although I probably know each other's thoughts, but it is a long time, about 10 hours of flight, and it is also excellent to have a beautiful woman to talk to. Coach Lin Guang, what are you doing in Samba? Luna heard the words, was overjoyed, and quickly asked. Tour. What about you? Lin Guang replied simply. Me? Sent by the company to Samba to interview a legendary star, he may be about to retire. Luna quickly replied. Legendary star, about to retire, or a Samba national? Is it an alien, Ronaldo? When Lin Guang heard this, his spirit was suddenly lifted. A bold idea came out of Lin Guang's heart. As a fan of Ronnie, Lin Guang clearly remembers that he announced his retirement tearfully on Valentine's Day in 2011. So, there should be time. However, this idea may need to be cooperated by Mr. Ferguson in the future. Yes, Coach Lin Guang is really powerful, you guessed it. By the way, how many days are you going to play in Samba? Will you go back and continue to coach Real Madrid? Luna looked at Lin Guang with an excited look and quickly took the opportunity to ask carefully. I don't know. Lin Guang spread his hands. It wasn't that he didn't want to answer Luna, but Lin Guang hadn't thought about it specifically. Seeing that Lin Guang was reluctant to elaborate, Luna quickly stopped asking. In the later days, the two just talked and laughed. Before you know it, the plane lands on its final destination, the city of Samba. Episode 39. After getting off the plane, Lin Guang and Luna separated. Because Luna's destination is to the Corinthians club in the city of San Polo. Lin Guang wanted to meet the 18-year-old future star in the Maki TOS club. And just when Lin Guangxiao meets beautiful journalists and happily selects players for his future team. Real Madrid's dressing room seems to be a little out of control. Solari is a substitute midfielder for Real Madrid's Galaxy Phase 1 and came directly to Real Madrid B as an assistant coach after retiring. Since Solari began to take over the work of the first team in the past few days, whether as a coach or a senior in the team, few active players have actively communicated with him. Because like the comments of netizens, the players of Real Madrid also wholeheartedly support and trust coach Lin Guang. Especially as players who participated in the competition, they struggled side by side with Lin Guang. Therefore, who can know more about coach Lin Guang's coaching ideas and tactical command than them? Consecutive victories, especially over sworn enemy Barca, when the team's coaches and players were at their most cohesive, and as a result, Solari came to pick the fruit during this period. Solari's airborne behavior at this time, whether it is a high-level decision or his own initiative, the Real Madrid players are very disgusted by it. Especially in the locker room, the thorn-headed players led by Ramos and Pepe have a disdain for this Solari, who is called an assistant coach but holds the actual power of the head coach. Solari also tried to communicate with this group of big stars, but their unanimous answer was who was the head coach and who they listened to. The locker room status of a team directly reflects whether the manager's aura is strong enough, and now Solari obviously feels that he has no place in the locker room at all. Sure enough, the handsome position of Real Madrid is a hot potato at any time. On the third day after Solari took over Lin Guang's coaching job, he began to regret his decision a little. Because of his coaching instructions, no one listens to him on the training ground and no one pays attention to them in the locker room. Solari wondered in his heart how this Lin Guang had subdued this group of undisciplined masters. Solari sighed alone. Fortunately, the term of office is only 2 or 3 months. Here to stay up and wait for the arrival of the marshal. A good gilding to enhance the reputation is the right thing. However, Solari did not expect that the players' support for coach Lin Guang was so strong. The first is Captain Casillas, who has always been opposed to Solari's team command and tactical philosophy. Casillas and Solari had been teammates a few years earlier, and Cassie was the second captain of the team after Raul at the time. Facing his former vice-captain, Solari and Ben have no confidence to compete with the legendary goalkeeper. Especially before the upcoming Champions League group stage, away to Lazio Bluehawks, Kaka announced that his injury had returned. Team Dr. Moss also immediately gave a proof of the recurrence of Kaka's old injury. Ramos has been clamoring to switch to midfield, and Pepe is determined to say that he has a single defender posture, and Real Madrid only needs him to be a defender. Faced with a runaway Real Madrid dressing room, Solari felt like he was about to collapse. These stinky boys. Lin Guang was on the street of Maquitos, leisurely eating local delicacies. On the mobile sports news, seeing the secret news of these Real Madrid dressing rooms, Lin Guang shook his head helplessly. Lin Guang had to admire these sports reporters, and his ability to dig up news was really strong. After 3 days of relaxing, Lin Guang decided to immediately implement his recruitment plan. It just so happened that there were 2 teams in the first division of Motos and San Polo. Lin Guang decided to go to Neymar after watching the game. After all, Lin Guang is still a Real Madrid manager. Go to the club to communicate to find a player to meet, the other party should still give face. Lin Guang bought a ticket in advance for a better position on the pitch to watch the game and observe the players up close. During the match between Maquitos and St. Paulo, Lin Guang could not help but marvel at the excitement of Samba football. However, as the game progressed, looking at Neymar's performance on the field, Lin Guang became more and more disliked. Episode 40. Lin Guang knew that Lai Ma-er was proud of his talent and liked to play with the opposing defenders on the field. But what Lin Guang did not expect was that the performance of the tired horse in this game was so stubborn. Lin Guang saw a lot of things in front of the camera before, and did not see the other side of the tired horse. I saw tired horse playing with the St. Paulo defender, and kept looking back, stopping the ball in place for verbal taunts. Hey, this kid, but it's broken. Lin Guang saw this and shook his head unceasingly. The St. Paul's defender, after being teased and ridiculed, was of course very angry. He walked over and beat the tired horse a little, and then the skinny boy with the yellow hair on his head fell head-on. So the players from both sides clashed, and the beating player was sent off with a red card. But the tired horse is still behind the lonely back of the last player, constantly nagging and then spitting. At this time, the fans immediately booed. However, the tired horse still goes its own way and does not care. Lin Guang pressed his forehead, and couldn't help but shake his head and ask himself, do you really want to choose to recruit this player in front of you and cooperate with him for a long time in the future? And recalling his past life, tired Mars chose to leave Barca for high salaries and team status at the peak stage and went to play for Saint-Germain. Such a personality, after Lin Guangyu personally inspected the scene, completely vetoed this person. Change the recruitment plan. Anyway, Lin Guang is now in the soccer town of Samba country, and it is not difficult to find a few good young seedlings. But it is also the summary of the first stop of this inspection of players that makes Lin Guang silently set a rule for recruiting players in his heart. That is, the talent is not necessarily the strongest, but the football must be of good character, and there must be self-discipline and dedication. Negating his first recruitment target, Lin Guang had some feelings at this moment. He looked at the St. Paulo team with only 10 people on the field, and his eyes suddenly lit up. This person is a fat tiger. On the other side of the globe, Real Madrid players, led by Solari, took a special plane to the city of Loma in the country of Ely. They will face their group stage opponents Lazio the next day. In the group that Real Madrid is in, there are 3 other teams besides Real Madrid. They are Manchester United, Lazio and Zenit. After Real Madrid won Manchester United last week, their qualifying situation is very clear. As long as they win Lazio in this game, Real Madrid can lock in the first place in the group. So, after the team arrived in Loma City, Solari gave his first coaching reprimand to all the players in the lobby of the hotel. "Oh, there's nothing to say, and I know that everyone is very resistant to my coaching. But, I'm just telling you that this game tomorrow is very important for the team. I hope everyone will put aside their prejudices and work together to win the game." At this time, Solari said to the 23 Real Madrid players in the hall, "Rest assured. Although we are unhappy that you have taken the position of coach Lin Guang, we still have professionalism." At this time, Pepe stood in the middle of the crowd and said with a big grin, "Yes, when we get to the court, we are born fighters. Su Shui, don't get tangled, just arrange your tactics." Casillas said firmly. As captain, before the big game, Cassie had a responsibility to stabilize the mood of the players. Solari nodded, then motioned for everyone to rest early. After receiving Casey's assurances, Solari's dangling heart was completely let go. During this time, Solari has been reviewing his behavior at the time. At that time, why did he go to Mr. Perez with a fever in his head and say that he wanted to be the transition coach of this Roche? I thought that Mr. President was lucky to come to him between himself and Zidane, but he knew that he had become an ant on a hot pot. Hey, it's still a miscalculation. At that time, I only saw the strength of this team, the scenery of the head coach after the game. But I did not expect that this team has been completely forested. No matter how strong the players are, but they don't obey their own management, it is useless." Solari shook his head and sighed, hoping that tomorrow's team would not be unsatisfactory. Because it's his first game since he was an assistant coach. In this world, some people are happy and some are sad. Lin Guang, who sat on the court and watched the ball, was obviously the one who was happy. Because the lost mulberry elm, the harvest of the East. Lin Guang did not expect that in this game, he also saw the strongest back of the future Real Madrid. Now playing in San Polo, Casemiro. If I had to choose between Tired Horse and Casemiro, I would choose Fat Tiger. Lin Guang looked at the court at this moment and said firmly.